Hello friends, I hope you're all well and none of your family or friends are suffering. Today I would like to practice with the Spanda, the energy that's in the body. That energy can manifest in many different ways. It can manifest in tickling sensations in the body. It could manifest as a sort of an itching sensation. Excuse me. It could manifest as a feeling of a swirling sensation in your body. And it can manifest as your breath. So there are many different ways that the Spanda can make itself known to you. So today I would like to work with that and to see how it works out. It may turn out to be something that you enjoy doing. You can practice this type of meditation just about anywhere, providing you are aware. So, before we begin, I would like you to focus on how it is that you are seated. If you're seated on the floor, I would like you to be seated in such a way that your lower back, the lower lumbar region of your back is comfortable. And remember, just above that lower lumbar region, there is a slight inward curve of the spine. And everybody has that, some to greater or lesser degree. If, like me, who have scoliosis, you also have probably some sort of S-curve in your lower back or further up your back. And if that's the case, you have to take that into consideration. You're going to find some types of seating a lot easier than other types of seating. You do not have to sit the way that I am seated right now. You can sit however you happen to be comfortable. And if that means that you sit in a chair with your hips, with the sit bones in the buttocks closer to the edge of the chair rather than further back, that's better. You don't want to have your back touching the back of the chair, if at all possible. You can, if you want to, take a block or something like that, or a towel, roll it up, and just put it, either the block or the towel in your lower back. You could also, if you're seated on the floor, sit on the block or sit on the towel or sit on a blanket, or if you have a meditation cushion, of course, you could use that. You could use anything. You could use a telephone book if you liked. Anything that's wide enough and comfortable enough for you to be seated on. But if you're seated on the floor and you're seated on something, make sure that it's not too high. Because if it's too high, then that can also be a problem for you. The best thing to do would be to try a couple of different things out and see what works best. And keep in mind that one day something is going to work better than the other day. Some days using a block like this may be great. Some days sitting in a chair may be what you want. So let your body decide on the day. Don't let your ego decide what you think would look better or may be the better way to sit, because there isn't one. The main thing is that your lower back and your spine are appropriately straight for your body. So that means that you have that little curve in the lower part of the back. Your back is not flat. If your back is flat, then that means that the lower part of the spine is out of whack, and you don't want that. You could even stand up and practice meditation. You do not have to be seated. And I have some friends who like to lie down during their practice. So if that works for you, lie down. If you're not sure, try it. But if you are going to lie down, make sure the head rests on something. The head doesn't rest on the floor, doesn't rest on the blanket on the floor. It is above the floor. The occipital ridge, the bump on the back of the head, is elevated from the floor so that your chin is just tucking down a little bit. Now, speaking about looking, if you're on the floor or you're seated in a chair or you're standing up, look down a little bit towards the floor so you feel the back of the neck lengthening. If you like, keep the eyes open, but if it feels better to you to have the eyes closed to begin with, have the eyes closed. Later on, you'll probably want to shift to having the eyes open, or you may not, Allow your body the chance to change its mind. So if you're in the middle of a practice and you find that you've got to make the change, please, please, please make the change. Now, the other thing I'd like to talk about, if you are seated on the floor, make sure you're seated comfortably. And if your legs need to move, you need to change the position, change them. I typically shift my leg position every 15 minutes unless I've got something going on with my knees, in which case I sit in a chair or I sit down on a block with my legs either side in the thunderbolt pose, if you will. So choose a position that you like. Make sure that your hips are elevated. So I like to sit on a block, so I'm going to sit on this block. One of the reasons why I choose the block is that when I go to a studio and I don't have my own equipment, I usually do bring my own equipment, but the blocks are fairly standard size. So if you get used to sitting on a block, more than likely when you go to a studio and you're going to practice meditation, you could use their block. It would fit. It would be the right height for you, providing you like to work with a block. The other thing I like is I like to have a blanket that I wrap around myself during the practice, because I find that my body temperature drops. And also, it's a nice feeling to feel enclosed. So I'm just going to shake this out. And just wrap it around. Make sure when you're seated that your clothes don't bind. If your shirt's tucked in and it feels constrained, pull the shirt out. Wear comfortable clothes. If you wear spandex and it's comfortable, that's great. But you don't have to wear spandex or anything like that. You just need to be comfortable and have it so that your body is not being restricted. So there's a little bit of room in the trousers for you to bend your legs if you're sitting on the floor. So I like to take my glasses off when I practice so there isn't the pressure on the bridge of the nose. Usually I have some water around just in case I start to cough, but this time I forgot. So if I start coughing, please excuse me. Now, sit comfortably, roll the shoulders over a few times. Here, let me move this out of the way. Roll the shoulders over a few times. You can have your hands on the knees. You could have the hands facing upwards. You could practice with a mudra. If there's a particular mudra that you like to use that. Don't use a mudra if you don't want to. Another way people often meditate is with the fingers and thumbs like this in a more traditional seating position. I want you to be aware of how your shoulders are. You want to avoid drag on the shoulders, especially if you're practicing a long meditation. If your arms are sticking out like that, when you're seated for a while, you're going to find that it's going to start pulling on the shoulders. So just have the elbows in closer to the body. Let the spine be comfortably straight. Go from the Muladhara chakra, the base chakra, the first chakra just above the perineum. Follow the energy up along the spine. You come to the fifth chakra. The energy goes up to the Ajna chakra, and then to the Sahasrara chakra. You could just feel that energy. Don't keep the energy there. Just be aware that it's there. Take a few moments to be settled. Make any subtle adjustments your body suggests. Become aware of your breath. Don't interfere with the breath. Simply watch the breath going in and watch the breath going out. Excuse me. Become aware of the sensations in the nostrils as you breathe in and breathe out. If you have a blocked nose or you're suffering from allergies and you can't breathe through your nose, breathe through your mouth. Ideally, you breathe through the nose. But if you have to breathe through your mouth right now, Breathe through the mouth. Keep the tongue relaxed, relaxed and wide. Keep the tongue from pressing against the roof of the mouth unless you're doing a particular mudra. And try and keep the tongue soft. If the tongue is tight, your body will become tight. So try to keep the tongue soft. Become aware of the pulsations in your body. You may be aware of the pulse as the breath travels in and out of the body. Let your mind wander around your body and find any spots that seem tight. When you come across those spots, just ask them gently to relax. You may notice that your body wants to sway back and forth or side to side, or it may want to circle around in a particular direction, and it may want to go the other way. It may not, and if that's okay, if that happens, that's okay. If it doesn't, that's also okay. If you notice an area that seems to be tickling or itching, put your awareness in that area, regardless of where it could be, anywhere on your body. Put your awareness right beside that area. If you are practicing with a mudra, try to keep your fingers or tongue from getting too tight. Keep them relaxed. As the energy shifts in your body, let your awareness shift with it, and then come to rest wherever it is next. If you are aware of a pulsation, put your awareness beside it, the region that it's in. Please keep in mind that it is perfectly natural for your mind to wander. Just when you notice it's wandering, gently pull the awareness back to what you're working on. Please remember, if you find that you have to move, please move. You may notice pulsations in the palms of your hands, or just one palm. You may notice in the soles of your feet, in the arch of the foot. You may notice it in any of the chakras. And when you are ready, please just open your eyes if they're closed. Take the opportunity to dedicate your practice to someone or something. If there's something going on, dedicate to it. May our practice be of benefit to all beings, and may all beings know happiness and the causes of happiness. Thank you for coming to the practice. If you have the opportunity to, please subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments, please leave them. I would be very interested to know things you might like to work on. If there are physical postures that you would like to work on, please leave me a note and let me know, and I'll see if I can work something out. Well, I hope you have a great remainder of the day. All the best. This is very useful when it works.